Hey everybody, Matt here with LGN Gaming. Today I'm bringing you guys just a quick combat commentary, and this one is about Fallout 4 and its main storyline. And actually, the whole Fallout 4 thing has been a very long experience for me. Firstly, I had probably around 100 hours in the game, my first playthrough, and I couldn't actually finish anything. Now, I was a member of pretty much each faction. I was a member of the Brotherhood, I was a member of the Minutemen, I was a member of the Railroad. The only faction I didn't like really was the Institute. Now, I couldn't decide who to end up going with. And I ended up just stop playing because it was like such a moral dilemma for me that I couldn't actually figure it out. But just recently, not too long ago, basically when I started doing Fallout videos, I actually picked it up again and started playing again. Because it's a really good game and it really interests me, and finally I decided who to go with. I played a lot through it, and I ended up deciding to go with the Minutemen. Mostly because the Brotherhood, I really like the Brotherhood from previous games. Specifically Fallout 3, I really liked the Brotherhood under Lyons because he actually was trying to help people and do more than just hoard technology. A lot of the West Coast Brotherhood, that's pretty much all they do. They're just technology hoarders, and they're very close-minded. Lyons actually opened it up and made it like he invited new people to join, which is something that doesn't happen on the West Coast. He defended the people from supermutants. He helped defend Project Purity when he could. He did a lot of good things, in my opinion. He made the Brotherhood away from what it really was, I guess, but he made it better, in my opinion. Now, under the new Maxon, Arthur Maxon, who is like a great-great-grandson or something like that of the founder of the Brotherhood, under him, the Brotherhood is sort of a mix of the two ideals, which actually makes it very deadly, because one, they still like hoarding technology and all this stuff, but they also invite new people. Now that's like makes them crazy strong, because they have tons of recruits and tons of power armor. So they're basically just a big army. As you can see, he made it really good. Like they float in on the grid when they have their own vertibirds they probably got from the Enclave way back during the wars with them. Not way back, it was like 12 years prior or something like that. But anyways, it's they're a force to be reckoned with, that's to be sure. Now, I'm still not sure if the Brotherhood could put up with, let's say the NCR on the other coast or something like that, but who knows. I don't want to get too off topic. I like the NCR, but I don't want to talk about them too much, because I could do a whole video just talking about the NCR and stuff and what I'd like to see again. Probably because New Vegas is my favorite Fallout game. But anyways, I want to stay on topic. The Brotherhood in Fallout 4. They're just very xenophobic. I mean, they absolutely hate synths, which is sort of a kicker for me, because in my viewpoint, synths are basically people. Sure, they were created in a lab, but they're made of the same stuff you or I am, so really, like, they're made of the same stuff. They have their own conscience, they have their own feelings, and a lot of people are like, oh, well, they're programmed to have those feelings. Yes, but what are you? You and I are also programmed, but we're programmed biologically, same way they are. We're wired biologically. Instead of copper wires, we got neurons running in our head and nerves and whatnot, and that's the same thing. It's we are machines basically, but we're organic machines, and that's what they are. They're an organic machine. They're basically exact replicas of humans, and they're based on human DNA. They're basically humans. They just don't have a mom or dad. Now, any synth basically is just a person in my viewpoint, because that's basically what they are, people. And really, the only reason I think there's the added hate towards synths is because of the whole replacing of people. Now, I know Nick Valentine is allowed in Diamond City, and most people are pretty okay with him. Not just because... I think that's not just because he helps people a lot, which that definitely plays a part. It's also because he doesn't hide the fact that he's a synth. If you tell people, look, I'm a synth, man. I'm not trying to take any... I'm not replacing anybody. I'm just me. Then people will be like, okay. And actually, you don't even have to tell people you're a synth if they don't know. And if... I'm sure once the Institute gets blown up, there's going to be plenty of synths out there that can just blend in. You just have to be people. That's all you got to do. Yeah, but the reason why I didn't choose the Brotherhood, I do like their military... I do like their style. I like the fact that they have power armor and whatnot. But I don't like the fact that they just don't like synths. They also don't like ghouls, super mutants, and they're a very monolithic viewpoint on everything. It's not, oh, we don't like feral ghouls, it's we don't like ghouls. Or it's not, we don't like super mutants that try to kill people, we don't like all super mutants. Even though there are definitely super mutants that aren't hostile towards humans. I know Strong, not the best example, but he's not hostile towards humans. At least the player, he's not hostile towards. Or Erickson in Far Harbor, he's not hostile towards humans. There's a lot more examples on the West Coast, but there aren't any peaceful super mutant tribes on the East Coast. But I think that might have something to do with the different types of FEV or something, or the lowered intelligence, maybe something like that. I don't know, or they just don't like doing that. Who knows? Could just be the creators just not want to do something. But anyways, the fact that their views are very monolithic is another thing I have trouble jiving with, because I don't know, especially ghouls. I mean, I understand wanting to kill feral ghouls. That's putting down a rabid dog, makes sense. But a normal ghoul is just a human being that was drugged through the mud, basically, like drew the short straw. Like they 9 times out of 10 they can't help the fact that they're a ghoul. It just happened, and then they end up not dying because they're a ghoul. So it's not their fault. Radiation's everywhere. So, there's that. That's the reason why I didn't choose the Brotherhood. And then, the reason why I didn't choose the Railroad, because they're very pro-synth, is because I didn't want to look at the way things were just from a synth standpoint. Like, the Brotherhood would have helped the Commonwealth, maybe not. They're very vexed in their own interests. And the Railroad would have helped the synths. That's 100% sure. They would have basically freed probably almost all of them. They would have done very well doing that. But after that, you have this faction that once they free all the synths, what do? They're basically done. They're not going to step in and do anything for normal people because they value synth lives. Sure, I think they value all lives technically, but they're not in the position to do anything to help normal everyday people like settlers and stuff like that. When I saw the Minutemen, I thought they were like a very neutral group. The Minutemen are definitely very good for the Commonwealth itself, because if people want the world to get better, people are going to have to do it. And the Minutemen are basically that whole concept. Like if we want to see change, we have to be the ones to do it. And that's good. That's very good. I like that. Now, the Railroad people were like, oh yeah, but most people in the Minutemen don't like synths. And I'm relatively unsure about that. First off, she said that they'd revolt if I told them not to kill the synths. And no, they won't. I'm the general. I'm awesome. I'm hardcore. They know that. I've killed frickin' Deathclaws with a baseball bat. No one's gonna mess with me. Anyways, so, plus, the way the Minutemen have always worked is, with a good general, they've been good and done good things. It's only when the generals die that they start fracturing and stuff like that. And I know the player character in the game, he's pretty young, so he's got quite a while, and at least the way I play as him, he ain't dying anytime soon. So that has a basis to get something really good. Maybe even if the Minutemen don't stay good forever, at least if you get enough settlements that are very well adjusted, very well put together, very well organized, at that point, and no longer have the specter of the Institute hanging over people's heads to mess up everything, it'll be easy to keep it going. Maybe not easy, but it'll be hard to go back to the state it was prior, because it would take a lot of undoing to destroy all the settlements that have been built, all the Minutemen who have came up, and plus, I'm sure that someone would rise to the occasion to be the next general. Maybe not a great person, not anyone I can think of, because anyone who would be the next general probably hasn't even been born yet, technically, because Preston Garvey's just a little bit younger than I am, and he obviously doesn't want to be the general because he let the first person he met be the general, basically.
Just what you said about Nat.
That old lady is old. The one who was a Minuteman before, I forget her name.
What kind of life is she gonna have if I never go near her again?
I don't know. I can't believe I can't remember her name right now, but I can't.
Sometimes it feels like the only
Anyways, I think the Minutemen are very neutral, and it's kind of like
having someone I can count on.
It's a decent outcome, I believe, because the people get something good, the synths get something okay. They're not going to get completely executed like they would be if the Brotherhood were going down there. And everybody ends out at least okay, because under the Railroad, the people kind of get screwed, because there's no big group, really. I mean, I'm sure helping I'm sure if you were still the general of the Minutemen and you helped and you used the Railroad to destroy the Institute, that might still work out pretty well for everybody in that way. That's probably what I would do next time. I really don't know if I want to do a Brotherhood ending, just because it's really cool getting to see Liberty Prime in action, but I don't really know if I want to, because how they'll definitely kill all the synths. And I don't know if I can do an Institute ending, because I'm not good at doing stuff with the bad guys, and whatever people say, they're the bad guys, because that's science without morality. You cannot, in my opinion, there are many situations where the ends do not justify the means, and the Institute is a very good example of that, because they're very okay with doing very terrible things to the people of the Commonwealth, and they don't even see the Commonwealth as savable, and that's wrong, because it's not too far gone. Excuse me, even if they think it is. Jeez.
You're not afraid of me like
excuse me again.
I was sure that the paper would be the best thing I did in my life.
The world can always get put back onto the right tilt, and the Commonwealth isn't even that bad in comparison to other places I've seen. I mean, if you look at Fallout 3, the capital Wasteland was in ruins. There were barely any settlements there. And with Project Purity, I'm sure it's starting to kick back into action now. And you're telling me that this Commonwealth, that's actually really good, that's actually in really good shape, with a lot of tiny settlements everywhere, isn't going to be able to bounce back? That's not a good idea. It's not right. Yeah. I did feel bad destroying the Institute, just because technically it's your son's life's work, which that seems really terrible. And I know that Sean died in the Institute because he had cancer, and that's why he was in that little chair thing at the end. And he couldn't leave if he wanted to, even if you could help him, which I don't think it would let you help him. But that's just rough, that whole situation. Because yes, the Institute needed to be destroyed, but just how much you hurt your own son in the process is just insane. And then something that really threw a curveball in my direction was the fact that Sean, the synth Sean, was reprogrammed or whatever to think I was his dad. and he showed up saying, "Hey, you're my dad," and I was like, "Oh, you're not my kid." I didn't tell him this, but I think to myself, "You're not my kid," but who is it my place to say that? I mean, technically, he's a little kid that thinks I'm his dad, and yeah, I could be like, "No, you're just a robot that was made to think that I'm your dad. You're not. I'm not really your dad. Sorry." So I end up saying, "Yeah, I'll take care of you," and stuff like that, because, you know, he is a kid. He's still a kid, even if he's not technically mine, and I'm sure there would be a better time to say that after he's 10 years old, probably when he's closer to an adult. That'd be a hard talk, don't get me wrong, but when he's like 18, you can just sit him down and be like, "Look, I have something to tell you you're probably not gonna like. You're actually not a human. The Institute made you, and you're basically a clone of my actual son, who's dead now. And I decided that I would take you in and treat you as my own." And then that would probably be pretty bad of a response. He'd probably be upset. I couldn't blame him, honestly. But I'm sure if you were good to him and whatnot, he'd understand. But that was my rationale in it, because I think 18 years into the future of some freaking game that I'm probably not going to play much more after I'm done, which, who knows, Fallout is so big, there's still a lot of stuff I want to do. I've been messing around with the vaults and whatnot, so I'll probably be playing Fallout for quite a while yet. But, yeah, so I've been rambling on a lot about beating the game, a lot longer than I thought I did. I thought this was going to be another 3-minute video, but here we go. It's already 17 minutes. Alright, well, I hope you guys enjoyed that little talk, little combat commentary. If you did, feel free to leave a like. That helps me out tremendously. If you guys like these kind of videos, feel free to subscribe. That is the best way to see when I post new videos. Anyways, Matt here with LGN Gaming, signing off. I'll see you guys next time.